Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, September 16, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the has been like in your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so taking a look at the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook from the US Climate Prediction Center that just came out today from the forecaster Novella, we're looking at the time period from September 24 to September 30, as well as the time period from October 1 to October 7. And we can see that the Caribbean, the Atlantic right here, definitely has some greens that represent some above normal rainfall, just at least a 50% chance with the light greens right here across section of the northeastern Caribbean all the way up into the northern portion of North Atlantic. And we even see some red and white patterns that we know, based on what we see here on the key on the bottom left, represents a 20% chance of tropical cyclone formation probability. So on both maps, we're seeing the above normal rainfall out there across the Atlantic. We even see some probability for tropical cyclone formation across the southwestern Gulf. We see it for the time period from October 1 to October 7 as well, above normal rainfall and chances of development across the western Caribbean, the southern Gulf, and even the main development region. It's going to be very interesting to see how all of this unfolds as time goes on. Will we get some systems to go out in here, or will some of this activity push into the Caribbean? We definitely have to stay updated to see exactly what unfolds. And we know that if something is surrounding the Central American area, it could be associated with the Central American gyre. We know that that gyre has a history of bringing us some rainfall into Jamaica. We definitely want some rainfall for sure. Either way, whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Taking a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook that just came out at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:17 p.m. Jamaica time. We're still monitoring that code red, something that has a high chance of development as it pushes towards the northwest across the main development region. And we now have a brand new code yellow right here off the coast of Africa, something that has a low chance of development within the next 7 days, as it looks like it's going to be steering into the direction of the Caribbean. Very interesting. And if we look at the infrared, we can see a lot of things right now. Definitely has changed compared to the last 7 days. We see a lot of convection across the northwestern Caribbean into Cuba, associated with some troughs. Another upper level trough right here to the north of Puerto Rico. A decent trough interacting with a tropical wave right here across the Leeward Islands. A lot of thunderstorms down in there. And that tropical wave that the Hurricane Center states that has a high chance of development as it pushes towards the northwest. And we see the other tropical wave right here off the coast of Africa that has a low chance of development as it pushes towards the west. And if we look back at what the Hurricane Center is stating, so regarding this first entity right here, we're looking at the code red at first, and they've stated here: showers and thunderstorms associated with an elongated area of low pressure located about midway between the Windward Islands and the Cabo Verde Islands have changed little in organization during the past 12 hours or so. However, environmental conditions are conducive for additional development, and a tropical depression or storm is expected to form in the next day or two as the system moves west-northwestward or northwestward at 10 to 15 miles per hour over the central tropical Atlantic. Additional information on this system, including gale warnings, can be found in high seas forecasts issued by the National Weather Service. And we see that they've given the area a 90% chance of cyclone formation within the next 24 hours, well, within the next 2 days, as well as within the next 7 days. Regarding the code yellow now, very interesting. They've stated here a tropical wave located a couple hundred miles southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Some slow development of this system is possible towards the latter part of this week as it moves westward at 15 to 28 miles per hour. Emphasis on the westward, moving from the eastern to the central portion of the tropical Atlantic. And we see that they've given it a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. Very interesting. But we're focusing our attention right now on Invest 92L. So that is basically that code red right here. And if we take a look at the invert, the close-up, we definitely see some decent thunderstorms here and there. Yesterday's thunderstorms definitely looked a bit more impressive, but it's still trying to get its act together. We see most of the thunderstorms on the southern side of the circulation right here. We see the reds into the blacks, into the grays, into the purples, some deep convection in there. And according to the Euro and the GFS ensembles, the spaghetti model plots, they're still in agreement that the system should be going just to the north of the Eastern Caribbean right here. Not even gonna be coming close as what Erin did at all. So no effects at all, and we see it definitely pushing towards the northwest, then possibly towards the northeast, and then we see both the Euro and the GFS ensembles in agreement with that track. And regarding the model intensity guidance, they're all in agreement that it should definitely become a tropical storm within the next 24 hours. So by tomorrow for sure it would be Tropical Storm Gabrielle, maintaining that tropical storm status for the next 5 days, then possibly a hurricane as we see it heading up into the yellows, into the oranges, into the reds that represents category 1 to 3. We'll see how it actually plays out. Even the Euro and the GFS supercomputer model runs here are in agreement that it should definitely be developing, but we have some differences regarding the positioning of the system by this date. This is valid for 6Z on Tuesday, September 23, so that's 1 a.m. on Tuesday, September 23. The Euro model has it way out here across the northern portion of North Atlantic, 954 millibars, definitely a hurricane at that time. We have Bermuda right here, so it's definitely far to the east or to the northeast of Bermuda by that time. Definitely missed there. The GFS is a bit slower with the entity. We see it right down in here to the southwest of where the Euro has it, and it's definitely coming a bit too close for comfort to Bermuda. Very interesting. We'll see how it actually plays out. We know that we have a system that's going to be forming, so both maps are in agreement with that. But regarding the positioning, definitely still not really certain regarding what's exactly going to be taking place. Either way, whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. I know that the next name on the list is Gabriel, followed by Humberto. So will that code yellow acquire the name Humberto? Only time will tell. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we definitely had a tropical wave crossing over the island today, even although it didn't bring much rain, especially across eastern and central Jamaica. Boy, it was so hot and sunny. The western end definitely got lashed with some deep thunderstorms. We can see broken orange lines across Florida associated with a trough. Another trough right here to the north of Puerto Rico. Another tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean. That's definitely lashing the Leeward Islands as we speak. That other tropical wave associated with that code red, and that other tropical wave associated with that code yellow right here. All of these entities either being steered from east to west or from southeast to northwest around this ridge of high pressure to the north. And if we take a look back at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, we can make out all of these entities. Trough affecting portions of Florida, trough to the north of Puerto Rico, tropical wave right here affecting the Leeward Islands, that strong tropical wave that has a high chance of development within the next 7 days. Look how big that one is. And that tropical wave right here off the coast of Africa that has a low chance of development as it pushes towards the west. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, September 16, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of some eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica on Tuesday afternoon. And we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 3:15 p.m., the infrared close-up satellite image was posted right here on our Twitter page with the Jamaica, as well as on our Instagram page with the .Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So at that time, we saw some deep convection starting to fire up across portions of some central and western parishes. And when I say deep convection, I mean deep convection. We usually see the greens into the reds, but today we got it all the way up into the blacks and the grays. And look at the sparkling white dots that represent the amount of lightning that was taking place across section of northern Manchester, northern St. Elizabeth, section of Westmoreland into Hanover, section of St. James, Trelawney, section of St. Anne as well. And it even got even more explosive. I mean, look at 5:25 p.m. The grays started to turn into the most robust part of the key regarding the thunderstorms. This is as bad as it gets. Purples that we saw across sections of St. James into Hanover, they definitely got quite a decent lashing today. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, causing some amount of power outages. If not, maybe freak storm-like conditions, trees down. If not, power outages, in general. We'll see. Let's hear some of the reports later on. But as of right now, they definitely got some decent thunderstorms. And we even saw on the Little London camera in Westmoreland. I'll be showing you that live camera shortly. And if we take a look back at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before we lost sunlight, we can definitely make out the thunderstorms that were taking place, especially across central and western parishes. We saw some clouds coming in right here to the south of the island from east to west, but nothing really coming into eastern Jamaica to bring us the rainfall that we thought we would have gotten. Nothing at all. Most of today's thunderstorms are across sections of some central and western parishes. As you can see there, all of the reds into the blacks, into the grays, into the purples that represent that cumulonimbus thunderstorm activity. All of the sparkling white dots. I mean, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James definitely got quite the lashing today. They definitely got it. I wouldn't be surprised if they definitely had some power outages down there today. And even the Jamaican Doppler radar confirming the heavy rainfall that they got. I mean, look how the rainfall was just normal across central and western parishes. So greens into the yellows, into the oranges, and the reds represent some moderate to some heavy rainfall. I mean, look at the heavy rainfall that started to push into sections of Westmoreland, into Hanover and St. James. They definitely got a lashing at that time. Some very heavy rainfall, and then most of it pushed out to sea, leaving back some greens, just some light rainfall. And then, as you can see, by the time of recording, most of the activity was out of here. We're going to be looking at what's taking place right now shortly, but looking at the live camera today, the live camera from C Jamaica's YouTube channel. This is Little London. Look at the lightning, look at the heavy rainfall, and we literally have bikers out there riding around like it's nothing. Have you not heard that this is Lightning Awareness Month? Lightning is no joke. I don't understand. They're just out casually riding, and there's on and off lightning like crazy. This was at around 16:23, and look at the heap of lightning that's taking place. The heavy rainfall, sheets of rainfall. One man right over here taking shelter. It was definitely windy. I was watching, and I saw when the rainfall was coming in. First, it was black. When we were looking to the east, we saw the black clouds coming in and pushing towards this direction that we're at right here. And then the rainfall just took its time and got heavy. And then here we are at the heavy rainfall at almost 4:30 p.m. today. And look at that. Car light on just to show how heavy the rainfall was. And I'm sure that you noticed the persistent lightning flashes that were taking place. A lot of lightning took place over there in Little London, Westmoreland today. I'm even shocked that the electricity is still on. The camera is still up and running. That is just crazy. Decent rainfall for sure. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit C Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for you all to view for free. So subscribe today to this channel so that you don't miss out. Taking a look at the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, This map does indeed paint quite the picture of where we had that rainfall today, especially across sections of some central and western parishes during the afternoon. And we definitely have some comments from some of our followers about what the weather was like in their area today. We have Fest Genius stating spotty rain in Spanish Town. I'm glad you got some rainfall there. We have Active 4081 stating hot weather in Clarendon. We have Dwayne Knight 1126 stating we're suffering in Clarendon and Manchester. Second wave of drought experiencing. Oh god, I feel your pain. Even in my area, St. Thomas hot and dry. We have David Henry stating just as predicted, Western parishes getting rain. I'm happy you got that rainfall. We have Chiquita Hunter stating not in Trelawney, but we have Angelique Francis stating through this for her area. On our Instagram page, we had some comments coming in. We had Edward Stenisha stating just dark sky in South Manchester, my part, but heard was crazy in Northwest Clarendon. Thanks for confirming. We have KK Sweets 2 stating Portmore out the mix again. Murray underscore TRVP stating heavy breeze in a Mobe. I wonder if Mobe got that heavy rainfall. I wish you confirmed for us, but heavy breeze more than likely getting in on the rainfall afterwards. Full underscore faith stating raining heavily in Hanover. We have clear.macam stating no rain in Kingston but it hot. We have Kemar underscore ja underscore highest youth 825 stating little rainfall at Miami Bay in St. Anne. We have Romeo Pelpa stating boy Kingston salt. We also have Dean Lewis 8275 stating heavy thunderstorm in Sav. Let us see some more comments. Teve 24 stating rain the skip town. We have ta.underscore J22 stating look at that, and the eastern side of Jamaica dry like chips, like the chips me name today. Kiss me teeth. We have vodka underscore and underscore vibes underscore stating Kingston dry like my foot when them no lotion. We have Debbie and Henry stating Portmore hot and dry. We have unbothered Zana stating I must joke this. It did a high jump over Kingston. Yes, it surely did. We have Marshmallow 43 stating what make Ochi salt place block up every day and no rain. Crying emoji. And finally we have Lady Who Speaks Her Mind 876 stating the north dry too, and Caroline underscore Tamara underscore Lewis stating not even a drip, no drop at Clarendon, and the place dry like chips. Boy, I feel you guys pain. Look at how the western side of the island exploded with some decent thunderstorms today, like northwestern St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James. Looking at this today, it makes me wish I lived in one of those parishes, because boy, at this point those are the wettest parishes. Those people sleep well at night with the cool air that the rainfall brought. Correct me if I'm wrong. When it rains in the afternoon, if you live in Western Jamaica and you're watching now, when it rains in the afternoon, doesn't it feel cool at night? You can sleep well at night. Like I have AC here in my part of St. Thomas, but goodness, you know, the JPS bill is ridiculous. Alright, so we're going to be reloading the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. We're also going to be reloading the very latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery, the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery, the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar imagery, and the latest Cayman radar imagery. We want to see exactly what's taking place right now. Alright, so the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website is showing 0035 UTC, which is actually 7:35 p.m. So this just came out 11 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:46 p.m. right now. As you can see, we have some clouds to the north of us, we have some clouds across the far western end, and even the waters to our southwest, some leftover clouds from some of today's thunderstorms. But we actually have rain bands underneath some of these clouds. As of right now, majority of the island seeing cirrus clouds in the whitish shades. But regarding the latest Jamaican Doppler radar imagery, so this is the latest showing 0029 UTC, which is actually 7:29. We're actually making out some rainfall just to the south of me right here in St. Thomas. That looks like some light to moderate rainfall, and we can make out some of the rain bands right here to the west of the island. So nothing really taking place, but we have some light rainfall out to sea as we speak, not on land at all. The Cuban Doppler radar looks like it glitched out today at around 4:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is actually at 3:40 p.m. Jamaica time. At that time, we definitely saw the rainfall coming into Western Jamaica, the greens into the yellows, moderate to heavy rainfall at that time. Some rain bands right here to the south of St. Thomas as well. regarding the Guantanamo Bay U.S. Navy radar. Not see much of anything across northeastern Jamaica, but we saw some hit or miss isolated rain bands right here, light to moderate rainfall across sections of southeastern Cuba, and we saw some decent rainfall across portions of Haiti as well. Look at the Western Peninsula with those blues into the greens into the yellows. They represent some light to moderate, even some slightly heavy rainfall for sure. They got some decent rainfall in Haiti today. And even the Cayman radar showing the rainfall that we got across western parishes pushing towards the west. We also saw some rain bound, some light to moderate to some slightly heavy rainfall across sections of Cuba and the waters to the southwest of the Cayman Islands. Not really much of anything across the Cayman Islands at this time. Regarding what's taking place right now, the live camera right here from C Jamaica's YouTube channel showing downtown Kingston, a very busy downtown Kingston as usual. People vending on the roadsides, people walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business, and that should be the order of the evening into the night. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that we're at 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Wednesday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows and some slight oranges that represents maybe up to at least a degree Celsius or maybe close to 2 degrees Celsius above normal. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of September across Jamaica is around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and when that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.2 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32.2 degrees Celsius all the way up to maybe 33, maybe 34 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Wednesday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online Twitter page that we have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Wednesday, September 17, 2025. We're referring to Rural Hilltop in Portland from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're also referring to Tom's Hope, Fellowship, Stanton, Harcourt, Seaman's Valley, Moortown, Cornwall Barracks, Comfort Castle, Millbank, and Environs, all in the parish of Portland from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We're also expecting outages in Pinto to Fraser Road as well as Cavaliers in St. Andrew from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Lottery, Gilsborough, Provident, Industrial Housing Scheme, Murray Hill, Salters Hill, Latium, and all roads leading off in the parish of St. James from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. All Dare, as well as Bluefields in Westmoreland from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And finally, we have a maintenance outage expected for Barbary Hall in St. Elizabeth from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. It states here, dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day, and I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugary drinks and drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and the whites within those reds. And we see that the dry air has definitely dwindled down. Only a little bit of dry air left across the water to the northwest of Africa, across the northern portion of the North Atlantic. And that's what we wanted all along. A lot of these blues is what we wanted. That represents the moist air. And wherever we have the moist air, we have more clouds in the grids. And that's what we want. We want more clouds so that we get more rainfall, cool down the temperatures, and bring water or keep water in our pipes. Regarding the Saharan dust forecast for the next 3 days, so we're heading into September 17, September 18, and September 19. And as you can see here, Jamaica should be in the clear for the next 3 days. We're grateful for that. We have some Saharan dust in the yellows, into the greens, into the oranges, pushing through the main development region, but nothing really significant. We see the more it pushes to the west, the more it dwindles down back to some greens, and that's what we want. We don't want the Saharan dust at all to cause very hazy skies or trigger respiratory illnesses in people whatsoever. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can clearly see across the Caribbean just some light shades of blues to darker shades of blues, anywhere from 0.5 of a meter wave height all the way up to 1, maybe 1.5 of a meter wave height, or 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because of the easterly winds that are expected, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots at most. And look at the strong winds that future Gabriel is going to be churning up. Look at the spin out there across the main development region around the center of circulation, that clockwise fashion. So definitely churning up the seas, some strong winds expected. Let us see the seas. There we have it. Some dark blues into the purples, into the pinks, burgundies, all the way up to 6 meter wave heights as expected, with a system that is formulating as we speak. To tropical storm status is definitely imminent. Regarding Jamaica's wave forecast for tomorrow, to the north of Portland, up to 1.1 meter wave height expected tomorrow, 1 meter wave height to the north of St. Anne, to the north of Hanover, 0.7 of a meter wave height expected, to the south of Westmoreland, 0.6 of a meter wave height expected, to the south of Clarendon, 0.7 of a meter wave height expected, and to the south of St. Thomas, 1.2 meter wave height expected. And that's because of the winds that are expected tomorrow. We see that easterly flow for sure, not really strong winds at all, averaging 10 knots to the south of St. Thomas, averaging 11 knots to the north of St. Anne, to the south of St. Elizabeth, 9 knot winds. And we see where we have the least amount of winds in the blues across sections of some central and western parishes. So that's where we could have some of these low level clouds becoming middle of a rain cloud. Then we have that daytime heating rainfall for sure. And the upper level winds, as stated, still coming in from the northeast tomorrow. So if we actually get some thunderstorms tomorrow, those cloud tops will be sheared off towards the south, if not towards the southwest. And regarding the actual rainfall forecast maps now, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 2 p.m. Jamaica time. And we see the blues represent rainfall on the Euro across eastern, central, western parishes. The GFS making more sense, showing the blues represent rainfall mainly across sections of some central and western parishes, with the exception of some western portions of some eastern parishes. So we're talking about sections of western Portland, maybe northwestern St. Thomas, Kingston and St. Andrew, with an asterisk, because boy, today we thought that Kingston and St. Andrew would have gotten something, and they didn't get anything. Goodness, the weather is just mean to us. But we definitely see areas like Hanover shaded once again, Westmoreland, South to St. Elizabeth, sections of St. James, Trelawney, Manchester, Northern Clarendon, Northern St. Catherine, sections of St. Mary, St. Anne. Trelawney definitely going to be getting some amount of afternoon rainfall, and we clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that, so the chances are higher for it to actually take place. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps for the next 24 hours are in agreement that it's going to be raining. Both maps right here are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. Not saying that's going to be raining from now all the way up until then, but within the next 24 hours, these are the spots that are going to be picking up the most rainfall, especially northern parishes on the GFS, the Euro. Looks to be this era on the border of St. Andrew into St. Mary, going all the way up to 0.74 of an inch of rainfall, close to 1 inch. The GFS going up to at least 0.89 of an inch of rainfall, definitely close to 1 inch of rainfall. We know how these things go. It could be more, it could be less. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it, because we're in the month of September, and in St. Thomas, whose bar graph is being shown right here, for the month of September, we usually receive around 4.8 inches of rainfall. In the next parish right here, that's Westmoreland, we usually receive around 5.4 inches of rainfall for the month of September. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in the month of September in terms of rainfall, or for the entire year, you can visit nomadseason.com, and this website will show that information, and it even calculates it to millimeters for you, so you don't even need to do the math yourself. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us, according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours. That stands for the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. So we just looked at Wednesday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Thursday, and 12Z on Thursday is actually 7 a.m. Don't really see much of anything across Jamaica at that time, but as we continue, Thursday afternoon we see the greens represent rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. What does the GFS show? Thursday morning, actually seeing moisture across some southern and eastern parishes on the GFS as opposed to the Euro that was showing nothing. Then on Thursday afternoon, we see that rainfall across sections of some eastern, northern and western parishes. What do we see on Friday morning? Friday morning, we're actually seeing rainfall across some northern and eastern parishes. Friday afternoon, we're seeing rainfall across sections of some eastern, central and western parishes. What does the GFS show for Friday morning? Friday morning, we see some rainfall across the northwest, the south, and the waters to our east. Then on Friday afternoon, we see rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on Saturday morning on the Euro? Rainfall to our east. Saturday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. What do we see on the GFS? Saturday morning, rainfall across the southern, western, and northern, as well as the far eastern end of the island. Then on Saturday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. Interesting. What do we see on Sunday morning? Rainfall to our northwest, to our northeast, to the south of us. Then on Sunday afternoon, rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes. And then we're looking at the GFS for the same time period. Sunday morning, rainfall to the west of us, to the north of us, to the east of us. And then on Sunday afternoon, rainfall across some eastern, northern, and western parishes. What do we see on Monday morning? On Monday morning, maybe some isolated showers out east. Monday afternoon, we're actually seeing rainfall mainly across some central and western parishes. And we're stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Tuesday, September 23. And not really seeing much of anything across Jamaica at that time. What does the GFS show for the same time period? Monday morning, not really much of anything across Jamaica. Quite a formidable looking Gabriel right here to the north of the Lesser Antilles though. Then on Monday afternoon, rainfall to the south of us. Okay, here we go. Rainfall across some northern and western parishes. And then we're stopping it right here as well at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Tuesday, September 23. Not really seeing much of anything across Jamaica at that time. Very interesting. We'll see it actually plays out. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast month for the next 7 days are in agreement that we're still getting in on the dark reds into the purples and the pinks. That represents anywhere from 2 inches of rainfall all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall, especially for the areas that we have future Gabriel crossing over, the GFS over there. The Euro definitely a bit more in this area. So if we look at it, we'll definitely see it. Is that right? Okay, there we go. Definitely have the purples into the pinks. Lots of rainfall with future Gabriel. And we definitely see that rainfall as usual across sections of the Bahamas, into Florida, into Cuba, into Central America, into portion of Northern South America. So these areas could definitely pick up on some 2, maybe up to 3, maybe even up to 4 inches of rainfall. That could trigger somewhat of isolated flash flooding. While other areas that are shaded into the yellows, the oranges, into the reds, that's up to 1 inch of rainfall or less for the next 7 days. And regarding Jamaica's rainfall totals for the next 7 days, both maps right here are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Tuesday, September 23. And we see Jamaica shaded from the eastern end to the western end, and the yellows into the oranges. That represents anywhere from 30 millimeters, maybe all the way up to, what is this? It looks like 63 millimeters of rainfall in the oranges. The GFS, on the other hand, still going up there with the rainfall totals in the slight pinks, up to 89 millimeters of rainfall, especially across the cockpit country. We'll see it actually plays out, and whatever happens, I will definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have numerous troughs here and there affecting Florida, affecting the northwestern Caribbean. We also have another tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean, the Leeward Islands, and that strong tropical wave that the hurricane center is watching across the main development region. That other tropical wave that has a low chance of development right here off the coast of Africa. And if we take a look at what's taking place regarding the Doppler radar imagery near Puerto Rico, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing a lot of rain bands near the Leeward Island. And there are the rain bands. Look at the greens into the yellows into the oranges and reds. Some heavy rainfall right there just to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, to the east of Guadeloupe and Dominica. Some of the rain bands already affecting Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia. But Puerto Rico not really seeing much of anything right now. Earlier today though, section of southwestern Puerto Rico got some decent moderate to heavy rainfall. Regarding the Barbados radar, we're actually seeing some moisture in and around the area. A lot of moisture pushing into Guadeloupe and Dominica. We see some moisture to the east of Martinique, to the east of St. Lucia, sections of St. Vincent, getting in on some of the rainfall, so too Tobago right here. And regarding the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across sections of Florida, sections of Cuba into the western tip of Cuba, portion of the Yucatan, Belize, northern Guatemala getting on some of the action as well. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are in agreement that it's going to be raining anywhere from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday for areas that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds, like Florida into the Bahamas, sections of the Cayman Islands, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Bart, sections of Montserrat, Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of Grenada, Barbados. Not really much of anything for Suriname or French Guiana, but maybe sections of Guyana getting on some of the action. So too sections of Venezuela, the ABC Islands, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, the Yucatan, definitely going to be getting on some rainfall. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in agreement with that forecast. I know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Regarding what's taking place across the Eastern Pacific, Tropical Depression Mario is right there. It was Tropical Storm Mario. It was forecast to become a Tropical Depression in yesterday's video by Wednesday, but we see that it definitely sped up the process. We have a code red now just to the south of Mexico, something that is trying to become the next name on the list. So Mario is right there. Not really much deep convection at all associated with it, Tropical Depression. And we see the next system right here trying to become the next name. You know that the next name on the list after Mario is Narda. But regarding the latest on Mario, Tropical Depression right now, packing 35 mile per hour winds, moving towards the northwest at 10 miles per hour for sure. So it's definitely on its way to dissipating as we speak. And regarding what's happening on the western Pacific side of things, we have a cold yellow right here to the east of the Philippines, right? Across the Philippines though, just to the east, this precise east, right here offshore, we actually have a tropical storm. Tropical Storm 23W is what it's called. We don't have an official name right now, but we see the deep convection. They're definitely getting into some bad weather across the Philippines as we speak. It should be crossing the Philippines from southeast to northwest tonight. It's currently packing maximum sustained winds of 30 knots. It's expected to push out towards the northwest and then make it into China by around September 20th. So very interesting times ahead. And we know that it is definitely a low-end tropical storm. Considering the knots, we know that anywhere from 34 to 64 knots definitely represent that status for sure. And as of right now, it's packing maximum sustained winds of 45 knots. So it's definitely down there in the intensity, almost medium range tropical storm as we speak. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.